Hi everyone, this is Gary Wilson and welcome to tonight's live Q&A webinar for the Investor Agent Training Program. And again, welcome to all of you who've been through some of the other training programs or actually came through those programs. Flipping for profits without the risk, turning rental problems into real estate profits, that's property management. And rental problems without the pain, that's of course acquiring the rental properties. And the wholesaling, we are going to be rolling that out in a couple of weeks on the 22nd. So pay attention for look for emails from Beverly on that. You guys can certainly participate. If you want to go forward with that, again, all of you get it for half price. So wholesaling has been a real hot subject in the last couple of months. I can't seem to get away from it, but that's okay. If it's important to you, it's important to me. I'm just glad we developed that last year. It just took us a while to roll that out. We decided as a group to roll out the property management one first and do the wholesaling second. And we generally only do one or two a year anyway. So in any case, welcome aboard to all the new folks, whether you're from Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Georgia, all those states I've been to in the last several months. Welcome aboard. And just keep in mind that this is live, that it is recorded. So if you're hearing this in recorded mode, it's because you couldn't attend live, and don't worry, everybody gets a recording of this. But I want to go over a few things here before we get into the content. Beverly asked me to ask everybody a favor to share with you. So it doesn't look like everybody's been using the community site. Just remember, the community site is accessed through the silver level membership section of the My Investment Services website. So go there and you want to set up your own profile. Some of you have done it, a lot of you haven't. And we're adding new vendors, it seems like, every month to that. Vendors being lenders, inspectors, appraisers, attorneys. Of course, Teresa Martin is out there. We are going to be adding a credit guy out there. Matter of fact, he's going to be on the February 23rd webinar, the night after the wholesaling webinar. He's going to be talking about credit repair and give you some things you can share with your clients to help them improve their credit. And it's stuff that actually works, because I know people that have done it with this guy called CSI, and it's kind of an interesting name for a credit company. But what they do apparently works very well, because I've spoken to people, I've had clients do it, and they've improved their credit score by hundreds of points in a short period of time. I don't know how they do it, but whatever it is, it works. So in any case, back to the community site. Make sure you use the community site to set up your profile, because other agents are looking for you guys, and they can't find you if you're not on the profile. And what that means is you're not getting referrals that you should be getting. So put your information out there. You can search each other out, and if you have a client investing in your town and they're from out of the country, typically they're investing in other locations, and they'll ask you who can you use, and you need to tell them, hey, there's other agents just like me who've been professionally training to work with investors. So community site's pretty critical. Also, please read the weekly email that comes out from Beverly. A lot of the questions you might have are probably answered in that email. It comes out every week after the webinar, and it gives you the webinar schedule coming up. It also gives you the recording of the one that's on there and other important information that you need to have. And the other thing too is you always keep the initial email that you get from Beverly. That's called the orientation email. And there's a video you watch. It's a recording that tells you everything you need to know about the website, myinvestmentservices.com, the silver level membership section, which you all are on by default, and also the digital talk training platform. Lots of good information out there. And they want to provide service to you. It's just what's happening is a lot of the calls are of that nature, so they're not really providing any real help. They're just simply answering questions that are already, the answer's already available to you, I guess is what I'm saying. So it'll helps to free up resources so that they can be better service providers for you. So appreciate if you guys could do that. That would be wonderful. So let me reduce that and bring up, we're going to go into Module 2 tonight. And I'm going to basically start off here picking up where we left off the last 2 weeks, which is focusing in on the finding specific properties in specific areas. So if you go back to the last two webinars, we went into the school report, then we went into Melissa data, to zero down even further to specific carrier routes, i.e. neighborhoods. And then we zero loser being focused, and after that, on planning commission websites for how you can get demographics and social graphics on the area. So when it comes to working with investors, they have critical information available to them to help them make good investment decisions. So in any case, we got through that. I'm going to kind of elaborate a little bit on what we call market area aesthetics. Okay, so you've narrowed things down, and that's good that you've done that. We can now focus on, instead of the massive ocean of data, we can narrow it down by school areas and price range, by zip codes, by specific neighborhoods, and get real nitty-gritty detail information. But the next thing we're going to do is we really have to understand, from a visual perspective, the areas that we're working in. Okay, and I like to rank them as A, B, and C areas. Okay, A being typically your affluent, high-end luxury areas. On average, in most parts of the U.S. and Canada, that's $500,000. That's an average. In areas like New York, for example, on Manhattan, there are zip codes where the average home price is $6 million. Okay, out in Burlingame, California, just below the Golden Gate Bridge, the average is $1.3 million. And then you have places like Dayton, Ohio, where the average is $70,000. In Dayton, Ohio, luxury is probably $250,000 to $300,000 and above. And up in Long Island, luxury is probably higher than $6 million. So in any case, everything's relative. It's easy to determine what that is based on the information on your score report. And then what you want to do is, at some point, you should be familiar with the areas from a visual perspective. So I'm not saying go out and drive around just for the sake of looking at areas. But as you're out with clients looking, you should be making note of the different areas. I highly recommend just even take pictures with your phone. And most smartphones today have a way to record messages for yourself. Just make quick notes. When you get back in the car, just make a quick note of the area, what was around there, how many houses were vacant, how many shops were open and thriving versus those aren't, just things like that. Okay, very important that you build that visual data, because it'll help further validate the data we're getting from these websites that we use. Okay, so let's go ahead and move forward here. I am going to check for questions here one more time before we jump in too much. Let's see, Glenn is saying, just check spam in case, oops, hang on one second. I didn't get the reply, send it again. Hey, so Glenn, send it to Gary@myinvestmentservices.com, and I'll get to it tonight. So I apologize if there's been a real delay there for you. Okay, so let me get back to the content. I'm going to reduce my panel here for a few minutes, guys, so I won't be able to see your questions for a minute. Okay, A, B, and C. Very straightforward. A typically represents the affluent areas or luxury homes. Okay. B represents typical what we call median range. Some people refer to it as middle class. And C represents anything below that. So there's a lot of categories in C, and we actually operate in the C ranges when it comes to rentals, and typically in B ranges when we were working on flips. But let's just go into a little more detail, and it'll make a lot more sense here. Okay, A, B, and C neighborhoods. So you have to understand your particular MLS area, and you may have a wide variety. I mean, I've been to certain parts of the country. Atlanta, for example, wonderful, big, huge place, lots of great restaurants, awesome airport, very busy, lots of traffic, and lots of urban and suburban areas. And you'll find a variety of areas all the way from A to C, A, B's, and C's in that area. Okay, just within areas like Marietta, Alpharetta, you've got some really nice areas. Upper middle class, emerging affluent. Okay, and you've also got areas that quite frankly, are at best C plus. Okay, where you could flip in the C plus areas, but more likely you're looking at rentals in those areas, right? Let's talk about first the A areas. Okay, generally speaking, we're not doing much business in the A areas. The reason is, I know it sounds tempting to flip homes in the A areas because, yeah, you make a lot of money, you get a big flip, get a big payday, big commissions. But the reality is, if you look at your score report, you'll discover quickly there's not a lot of business transacting in the A areas compared to the B areas, for example. Okay, so in other words, if I'm going to flip a home, I'm probably going to look in the B areas because I know I'll have more inventory I can buy and more buyers to buy that inventory once it's remodeled, versus the A areas where you're reducing your market space. There's fewer people that can buy properties in the A areas, and also typically there are fewer properties available for sale. All right. Now I know a guru from several years ago, going back probably 10 years, who got real confident in his ability to flip homes. He decided he's going to go flip an affluent home. And I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at him, but in any case, that home sat there for 2 years, and he finally decided to rent it out. And he learned a valuable lesson, which is there were fewer people can buy affluent homes. Number one. Number two is when there's the slightest sign of trouble economically, affluent people generally are more in tune with economics, and they will basically circle the wagons. Okay. So they're not interested in spending $1 million. They're perfectly fine with the current home that they have. Okay, so he learned that valuable lesson. And so what I tell people is, when you're flipping, always stick in the B areas. Okay, bread and butter. You've got basically upper middle class, lower middle class, which is your C plus C. Your B plus, your B, and your B minus areas. Now remember, that can vary widely. California, there's areas like Ojai, California, north of LA by about an hour and a half. Wonderful neighborhood just east of Ventura Beach and southeast of what is that? Boy, I'm drawing a blank on one of my favorite areas here. But in any case, a wonderful area. The average home price, though, was well over 600. Oh, Santa Barbara was what I was thinking of. Excuse me. Average home price, well above $600,000. Most people in the country couldn't touch that, but out there, that's just what's normal. Okay. In any case, you have to find out what that range is, and the reason is, guys, is it's simply a mathematical function. There are more people who can buy homes in that price range, the medium price range, in the B range. And when you're flipping homes, you'll quickly discover that it makes more sense to make, say, $50,000 a flip 5 times in a year in an area where you can sell properties every 45 days, okay, as opposed to attempt to make $250,000 in an area where homes are taking 2 years to sell. It just doesn't make sense. I know it feels good, glamorous, thinking I can make $250,000. The problem is you've got a lot of other risks there. Market risk is one of them. How many people can buy that property? Well, far fewer people can. Okay, and as a result, if your days on market generally stretches out to longer periods of time. And when your capital is sitting idle, that means you're no longer in the business. And capital is the lifeblood of an investor's business, and they have to recycle that capital as often as possible. In other words, savvy investors want to turn that capital over as many times as they can, because every time they turn that capital over, they make a profit. And every time they make a profit, guys, we make commissions. Okay? So this is why you need to know this information. It does come back to you directly. Whether you're investing yourself or you're supporting investors, you have to understand these dynamics, and in particularly understand the data for your area. So in any case, I generally will flip in the B range, B minus, B plus, and right smack dab in the middle. Okay, I have attempted to flip A minus areas before and have succeeded, but quite frankly, I learned a lesson that the old guru learned, which is your capital gets tied up for a long period of time. Okay, and you just sit idle, and you're basically every month you're paying for electric bills and gas bills and insurance and taxes and all this stuff. Okay, it makes no sense. Likewise, in the C plus areas, yes, you can flip homes in the C plus areas. We'll talk about that next. But generally, we'll look more at rentals in those areas, okay? And by the way, there is some overlap. So the fact is, you can rent homes in a B minus area. Basically, they're middle class or kind of at the entry level point, and a lot of them are your bread and butter 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes. that you can rent. You can rent single-family homes in that price range. No doubt about it. Okay, so let's go into the C areas. All right, talk about that. Okay, now this is there's a lot of transition neighborhoods that are qualify for being a C area. C plus is just a hair below the B minus, which is your their entry level median price home ranges. C plus is just barely touching it, kind of scratching the whiskers there, so to speak. You can flip homes there. I've done it, and they'll be generally a little bit lower priced, not as much on the profit side of a flip, but you still can do a pretty good business there. And what I would do sometimes is I would look to buy properties in those areas and just do a quick remodel just to get them up in service and rent them out and hang on to them for a few years just to watch the marketplace. Okay, and if I saw the marketplace improving like I was hoping it would, then maybe 3 or 5 years later, once whatever tenant is in there moves out, I will then remodel with a more robust remodeling project, and in essence sell that for a flip, because that C plus area is probably transitioning into a B minus. Just another strategy you can use for yourselves and for your investors. But more likely, we're going to have more rentals in the C areas. For my rentals, I will never go below a C minus area. I mean, I've done it before. Well, I shouldn't say never. I've done it before, and I learned a valuable lesson. Yes, your cap rate on an area that has a lot of government housing, for example, may look really high, but you're going to work hard for that. That cap rate, the higher the cap rate, doesn't just represent reward, it also represents risk. And so the higher the cap rate, the higher the risk. And what that means is more gray hair, more work, more stress. So I learned that if I just stay in the C range, I generally get better properties, better group of tenants, more qualified, typically, long-term jobs, steady paychecks, things like that, checking accounts, right? So, and those fall, if you can get a lot of right smack down in the middle C grade areas for rentals, boy, that is ideal. Okay, they're typically going to be tradespeople, or what we call yuppie couples, brand new people, and they don't want to spend a lot of money. They can't afford a lot, but they can afford a C area, and they'll rent there. They'll rent there for a time because it's generally safe and clean and reliable, and they'll save up their money to buy something. But you're going to get a lot of those kind of folks there. You also will get a lot of graduate students in college, a lot of medical school students, interns and residents and things like that. And you'll get a lot of people too who are either single or recently single. Okay, and they don't want to live in a dump. They want to live in a half decent place, but they can't afford to pay a lot. They don't want to pay a lot. So you're going to get a lot of those in that range. The C minus is where you start to get into people who tend to struggle a little bit more financially. They're okay. They're good people. Just somebody being poor doesn't mean they're a bad person. And by the way, poor is a state of mind. Being broke is a temporary economic condition. Being poor is a state of mind. And one of the things we try to do is help these folks with better, decent places that are safe and clean and reliable, and perhaps they can elevate their lifestyle a little bit while they're renting from you. So in any case, C minus, we generally see, in the case of single-family homes, much smaller, old 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, always only 1 bathroom, for example. Maybe they're 60, 70, 80 years old or older. Okay, you also find more duplexes in this range, duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes. Good. You can get a good pickup in those areas. We've done tons of them over the years. Lots of clients and me. But again, if we can kind of get in one of those areas where it looks like it's more like a C, straight C, we will do that. We'll dabble in the C minus areas as long as they're on the fringe of those neighborhoods and they're not dominated by a lot of public housing or government subsidized housing. So in any case, I just want to describe that to you, so to help you further understand the process of going through school report, Melissa data, planning commission website, and then finally the aesthetics, which is what we call this, the neighborhood aesthetics. Okay, and once you understand that, you can more thoroughly articulate it with your clients, and you can show them, and you can help them understand. Okay, so in any case, below that, guys, we call them war zones. Stick with the ABC properties and avoid the war zones. War zones are where you've got, multiple houses boarded up. You've got cars up on blocks. You've got vacant lots with overgrown weeds, and you don't see a lot of foot traffic. See, the good areas, the A, B, and C areas, generally you'll see more foot traffic. Okay, you'll see up in the business districts on the main streets, you'll see a lot of foot traffic there. People walking dogs, people running, people jogging. If you go to an area where you don't see any sign of life, that's generally a bad sign, particularly if you see cars up on blocks and things like that. So in any case, important that you grasp that. A lot of you probably, this makes sense, but until you actually experience it and do it in conjunction with the school report, you're really not fully grasping the areas. That you have to go through all that to really have a firm grasp on the areas. Okay, let me do this. Let me go back to questions here before I go further. I'm going to show you some websites you can use to get inventory for your clients. We'll go through some examples, and if we have time, I'm going to go through a rental calculator for you. It's one that it doesn't come up a lot, but it has come up since the holidays. It's called Rental Property Reporter. It's an online real-time calculator. I'll show it to you in a minute, but let's first get into some of the other websites I want to show you tonight. By the way, real quick, first things first, we've pretty much wrapped up the information for Module 1. If you're brand new students, I highly encourage you to use the tools we've given you to practice. Everybody on the call here today, guys, who's done this, every one of them went through that. Vassal, Hans, my gosh, let's see, who else was there? Let's see, trying to think, who was oh, Grace. Hi, Grace. How are you? It's good to see you. So Grace would have gone through the same thing. Oh, Liz Farmer's new. Hi, Liz. So Liz, this is confusing because I have a former student named Liz Farmer. In the case of Nakasha, you should have done it. Ray Higgins has probably done it. Ray, I bet you did this. I bet in the beginning you did that a couple of times. And Ray Higgins, by the way, has started striking gold within the first few months and even got referrals out of it. In any case, I think, Rhonda, you went through the same thing last year. So Rhonda, hey, look at my schedule, by the way, for February and March, and let me know I'm going to be close to you so we can meet up and have a in-person one-on-one and grab a bite to eat too while we're at it. In any case, let me go ahead and check for questions one more time. They're going to get into some more meat and potatoes here. So Dottie says, sorry for the delay. Oh, you must mean, yeah, Dottie, send me what you have. And I will, let's get together, let's do a one-on-one and talk about your, the booklet. Okay, Rhonda says, how do I look at your schedule? So Rhonda, go to myinvestmentservices.com and click on the events page, and you'll see all the locations I'm going to be in California. Jody may not have filled in all the dates in the second half of March, but I'm going to be out there. In fact, I'll be in, I think, Temecula way in the last week of March, which is, I don't think, too far from Redlands. In fact, I'll be in Palm Springs, actually, Rhonda, on middle of the first week of April, like April 5th. I think that's just over the mountains from you. Shouldn't be too far. In any case, a couple possibilities there. So let's see. Troy says, hey, Troy. Troy says, I actually started practicing the tools. I ended up running into an old friend who was looking to invest, and I was able to tell him about this stuff and showed him some potential properties. It's stupid simple. Well, thank you for saying that, Troy. It is. The funny thing is most of the most profound truths in life also usually end up being the most simple things, Okay, Rhonda says, those are both an hour from here. Okay, no problem. All right, I don't mind driving an hour. Maybe we can meet halfway and there's a nice little roadside cafe or something. Okay, I'm going to reduce the panel, guys, and go into part 2 of tonight's webinar, which are some of these websites. Let's start with HUD because HUD seems to draw a lot of attention, and I want you to make note of this, guys. If you're not aware of it, I used to be a listing broker for HUD. HUD was one of my accounts. I had 12 different asset manager accounts at one point. I had more over time, but at one point I had as many as 12, and HUD was one of them. You may not have known this, but any agent can advertise any HUD property. It doesn't just have to be the listing agent. They're called open listings. I know because I used to list them. And what that means is by default, any agent can advertise a HUD listing. And all you do is, as a courtesy, you might notify the listing broker, hey, I'm going to advertise your property because I think I can get it sold. But you don't need their permission. You can, by the way, you can list other agents' property. You can advertise other agents' properties. But by law, you need to get their permission first, okay? Now, a lot of agents would think you're crazy. I personally did it myself on both ends. I was glad to have other agents advertise my listings because that meant, they were bringing in more buyers, okay? And my sole purpose was to get the property sold as quickly as possible. I'll collect the listing side. Of course, I wanted to get the double under. I always wanted the buy side commissions too. But quite frankly, if I can sell my clients' properties quickly and for closest to list price, I'm going to get more business out of that. So just keep that in mind. But back to this, you can advertise any HUD property that you want to. And I had a lot of agents advertise mine over time, and it was wonderful. They got commissions, I got commissions. HUD was happy, so I got more listings, right? So here's the basic page. This is HUDhomestore.com. Right up top here, you'll see the URL. It is in your training material. I believe it's in module 2, if I'm not mistaken. In the beginning, I think it's module 2 in the beginning. So you're going to get this, you're going to get some others, but let's look at this one first. You can basically search for HUD properties anywhere in the continental U.S. This doesn't exist in Canada. We have other sources of information that we use in Canada. So let's just select, I am here and I just got to Lubbock, Texas. Let's go TX. Actually, let me go to, I was in Dallas the last couple of weeks. So let's look at Dallas County. Dallas County, Texas, which of course includes the city of Dallas. And let's see what kind of properties we have there that HUD has taken over. As you can see, we came up with one. 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home. Let's just take a look at it. You get the HUD listing ID, or excuse me, the HUD case ID, get the address, you get the price we're asking for it. Listing period has been extended. I'll talk about that here in a second, but let's just go look at the property first, all right? So you always get the case ID. Bring it up, you can see it's a ranch, 4-bedroom, 2-bath ranch. Let's see here, built in 67, so it's now 50 years old, is that right? About 50 years old. So it's pre-1978, which means they're gonna have a lead paint disclosure associated with this property. You can see all the pictures. Look at that. That looks pretty nice, guys. Okay. Now I'm not necessarily familiar with Duncanville, but I can tell you the average home price in Dallas County. I'll just go back to my notes here. Let's see. That was last week. So I was there February 1st. $250,000 median home price. So what that means is you or your client can pick this property up for essentially $150-something thousand, all right, and turn it over for potentially $250,000. You see how easy this is? And by the way, your clients often have discovered these websites. I mean, I shouldn't say often. A lot of times they have. But that's why you need to know about these, because if they're going to ask you about it, you need to be able to talk about it. So in any case, let's look at a few things here on this website so that you're familiar with it, all right? In order for you to bid on HUD properties, you have to be a licensed agent, and you have to register yourself and get what's called get your broker's NAID and get yourself a registration number so you can make offers on behalf of your clients. In any case, there's typically, let's look up here. Availability of home is subject to asset manager accepting bid from an earlier bid period or removing the home from the market. New bidding opening procedures for bids submitted on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, federal holidays. All right, a couple of things here you need to be aware of. These properties typically are made available to to government agencies and nonprofits initially first for a couple of weeks. That's the first bidding period. The second bidding period is for owner occupants. Okay? The third bidding period is for investors, and it'll tell you this is now open for investors. Okay, it's an open listing. Anybody can bid on it. Now, this is important because you'll have some investors sometimes thinking, hey, you know what? I'm just going to tell them that it's me. I'm buying it for myself. Don't fall for that, because there is an affidavit you have to sign as an agent where you swear that you know your client is a owner occupant, okay, and not an investor. So just be aware of that. In any case, it is 203K eligible, obviously. But let's look at some information you get here. Here's a list of the amenities: parking, garage, 2, crawl space. Addendums, you're going to get the lead paint disclosure, which basically is going to tell you they have no knowledge of lead paint. Let's just bring it up. I'll show you. Okay, hang on one second. Unless if they do have knowledge, they will tell you. So let's look at that disclosure. All right, so this is Kennedy in Dallas, and this is the lead paint disclosure for Kennedy in Dallas. Lead paint warning. Let's see. Financing type. So this, you the agent, have to fill this out, by the way. All right. Here it is right here. All right. Purchaser shall have the right to review the inspection report, paint stabilization plan, and cost estimate. If deteriorated lead-based paint was identified in the report, HUD will only perform stabilization if the cost of the estimate is $4,000 or less. Okay. In other words, if there's lead paint problems, HUD will give you $4,000. All right. And this is, you're basically saying either you're aware of your responsibility as a broker, you do or do not have information related to the property. Most cases you don't, and you have provided them with the lead paint pamphlet. Okay, all really important stuff. All right, property condition report. That's what PCR stands for. So let's see what they say about this property. They're telling you everything. Look, this is electrical is good. HVAC is good. I mean, it says okay, basically. Stove, refrigerator. There's something there was missing. I'm not sure what it is, but it says other is missing, so we don't know what that is. Plumbing is okay. Pressure, it passed the pressure test. Water heater. All that stuff is in there, and if they found problems, they will tell you. They're telling you they inspected the roof. Peaks, valleys, ridges. No deficiencies found. All right, so that's your basic property condition report. Property listing disclosure, sales contract. These are all the things you have to fill out when you actually make an offer. You have to get them from this. Okay. Now you get the map, you get the agent information. Matter of fact, you get the listing agent information here too. All right. So in any case, they always use a field service management company. In this case, it's going to be Sage. That's the asset manager. Listing broker is Keisha Marshall, and Donald Sells Home. That's probably her. Larry Durham's the company. Excuse me. In any case, you get all this information that helps you help your clients. But let's go back to the property info. What I'm trying to figure out is if this is actually open to all bidders, and I don't see that on here, so it's probably not. In any case, that's HUD, guys. Lots of good information. If you guys want me to look up a HUD property or see if there's a HUD property in your area, type it in your question box now, and I'll look at that for you. We'll just do it together. But we do have some questions here. Let's see. This is from Joe. Sorry, I had to reboot. I'm back. That's no problem, Joe. That happens. So Fassel is asking, and I'm curious, is it worth it to become a HUD agent? If so, how do you do that? So Fassel, I would tell you personally, for me, it was a lot of work, and I was making more money just working with the investors than I was getting from HUD. So I ended up giving up that contract, and we were able to get it in the hands of another agent in my office. It just was a lot of work. I mean, you're going to work your butt off on these listings. It does allow you to attract attention, okay? To go through the process of, you first got to talk to your broker, get the broker's NAID, and they'll tell you if they're already approved as a broker site, okay, because they only allow basically one registration, if you will, per office. So just check your team leader first. If you're able to do it, if there's not somebody already in your office doing it, you go back to this site, Facile, and you'll see here NAID application, and just follow their instructions. Here, I'll show you. All right, I'll click on it, and hopefully that'll bring it up. So check current NAID status. It shows you how to see if you've already got one for your office there. I don't know if your office does. I can't remember. But in any case, you just follow those instructions. It tells you everything you need to do, and you apply. And HUD is one of the more liberal asset managers. They grant NAID numbers to more agents and brokers than any other asset manager that I've ever seen. So if you're going to try one, I would try that one first, but just be prepared for a lot of work. And initially, you might not get any results for a while. So a little bit of a word of caution there. In any case, let me check for more questions here before I go on. Let's see. Let's see. Check Denver. So Glenn says check Denver. Okay, let's go back here. Let's go home. We're going to select, oops, why did that do that? We're going to select Colorado, CO, the great state of Colorado. Hey, Glenn, by the way, I am going to be coming back there. I don't know the month yet, but I had to cancel 3 of my 6 classes because my daughter got very ill back in the summer, and I missed a week there. But I will be coming back to teach there in the area, so keep an eye out for that. Let's just look at the city of Denver, and let's click search. And you can see there's sorry, let me reduce my panel so we have a better view here. Oops, what's that? There it goes. Okay, hang on one second, guys. Let me bring this more into focus. Okay, there's one right there. Walcott Street, 277,000. So, Glenn, I don't know Walcott Street. I'm somewhat familiar with Denver, but let's take a look at this and see what we got. Already, I will tell you this, Glenn. Already, I'm concerned because it's just a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. If you're looking for a good rental or a good flip, just always stick with the 3-bedroom, minimum 1-bath, 3-bedroom, preferably 2-bath. Because if you're renting, I'm assuming this is a single-family home. Let's find out. If it's a single-family home, we generally steer clear of the 2 bedrooms. There are rare exceptions, different parts of the country. And this does look like, in fact, a single-family home. Let's see here. What else does it tell us? Bidding period. 8 hours and 5 days left in this current period. Well, there it is. Eligible bidders, owner-occupants, nonprofits, government agencies. So, Glenn, this property here is only available to owner-occupants and nonprofits and government agencies. Investors can't bid on this right now. They will be able to bid after 8 days and 5 hours and 16 minutes. Okay, but in any case, you can see there's one there in Denver. You know, you'd be better off looking at the county level, but nonetheless, there's at least one there for you. And I think I don't know that neighborhood, but I'd be hard pressed to believe that we could resell a 2-bedroom, 1-bath for enough profit to make this worth it. You know, because HUD doesn't budge on their prices much, guys. I mean, it's an uncanny how they do that. I don't know how they do it, but you got to get within 10%, or they won't even look at your offer. Okay. All right, let me go back here to the panel and check for more questions. Rhonda says your calendar doesn't have your April dates yet. Yeah, April. The only April date I know so far is Carlsbad on April 3rd, but should be working my way up over the canyon to get to Temecula and Palm Springs that week, Rhonda. Okay, Jackie says, what commissions do they pay? HUD will pay, it's always been 5%, 2% each side. And the one thing I got to warn you about, Jackie, is the HUD used to have a minimum commission. So in other words, let's say you were selling some real, crazy, $10,000 property, maybe in like Dayton, Ohio, where the average home price is 70. And you might have, or in Detroit, where you still got properties in the really blighted areas for $10,000. HUD used to have a minimum commission that protected you so that you never made less than $1,250. Well, several years ago, they rescinded that minimum commission. So what that meant is you could sell a $10,000 property and only make like $300. Okay, I don't know about you, but I don't want to work for $300. That's a lot of work for a little bit of money. But generally speaking, you'll get 2.5 per side. Okay, so good question. Let's see. Glenn says thanks. You're welcome, Glenn. Well, let's do this, guys. Let's go to the next one. That was HUD. Let's go to, this is your VA properties. Okay. And again, these sites are pretty user-friendly, guys. So let's click here. Let's just see where was I was in Louisiana. So let's go to Louisiana. Hang on 1 second here. Gotta drop that a little bit further. Louisiana. Let's just see if we got any. Let's check New Orleans. How about that? Now, if you know anything about New Orleans, they don't, or Louisiana, they don't have counties, they have parishes. So I'm just going to click in the state, and I can see, look at right in the city, there's a couple of them right there. 3-bedroom, 2-bath for 65 grand, 4-bedroom and 3-bath for 135,000. Boy, if any of you guys are on from Louisiana, and we should have some students on because I taught there just last month, I would look at these guys. Based on my recollection of when I did my research on the areas, this looks pretty good. 3-bedroom, 2-bath for 65 grand. Holy smokes! So if you're on from Louisiana and you're anywhere around New Orleans, and I think I taught at 4 market centers around there, Mandeville, just Zachary, well, Zachary's not too far away. I would check this out, guys. In any case, you can click on these. So let's just click on them and see what we get here. All right. Now, for some reason, my browser is not expanding the photos. I don't know why, because usually it does. In any case, single-family home, built in 61. You can contact, in this case, Rob White. He's used a listing broker. Let's see. It tells you what utilities are available. It means basically water's on there. You're probably not going to have electricity on or gas. But in here, you get the VA offer to purchase, which is our sales agreement. You get the disclosure, rate on gas and mold disclosures, broker guide to the VA contract, VA home purchasing process. I don't want to show you these videos. I just want to show you what's possible. Okay. This site has improved over the years. They made it much easier to navigate. As you can see, this is probably one of the easiest ones. But let's go back. Actually, let's click on this. Make offer. All right. Because I think some of you guys should make an offer on this property. That's what I think. It gives you the offer. It tells you what to do, right? Must be submitted to a licensed real estate broker who happens to be Ron White. But as an agent, can earn a commission on this, okay? In any case, let's go back and see if you guys want me to pull up anything in your area from VA. Let me know that. Actually, I'll just go back to Denver. I don't think we're going to find anything. I could be wrong. New Jersey. Fassel says New Jersey. Okay, let's type in New Jersey. So let's do NJ for New Jersey. NJ, and obviously New Orleans is not in New Jersey. Let's just leave that blank. New Jersey is a highly densely populated area. Land-wise, it's one of the smaller states, but it's obviously highly densely populated. Look at that, 102 properties. Aberdeen, Atco, Berlin. I know where that is, but Fassel. And check that out, man. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 150 in Atco. I would so Fassel, I would look at this for up in Patterson and other areas that you're around where you are. You know, Bergen County, there was one in Bergen? Did we see that? Aberdeen. In any case, Bergen County. Actually, let's do this faster. Let me see if I can type in county. No, I can't type in county. Let's just do Patterson. And that might be kind of a small area, but let's just nonetheless try it out. Yeah, nothing in Patterson, but 102 in New Jersey, and I'm willing to bet the majority of them are up in northern New Jersey. So, in any case, very easy website to navigate. Let me check for more questions here real quick before I go on to the next one. Okay. So far, so good. So let's look at, that was VA. Now let's look at Freddie Mac. Freddie Mac uses what's called home steps, okay? And you can see this one's even easier. I mean, there's advanced search, all right? But let's just go with, Let's just go with Bergen County, New Jersey. See how it pre-fills for you? And let's see, that's up, and we got a couple students up there. So let's see, Hans Fassel. Let's see, Roger. I think this isn't too far from you. Woodridge. I think I've actually taught a class there. 3-bedroom, 1-bath, 184 grand, 185 grand. Inglewood, 210,000. So let's click on this one because that's 5 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms. Yep, there it is. I can see Hackensack right there, River Edge, Saddlebrook, and there you are, Inglewood right there. All right, let's click on this and see what we get, guys. This might be a potential opportunity for, ooh, look at that home, guys. Man, that's spectacular. Holy smokes. Hey, Roger, I think you and Fassel might be the closest to this. You might want to run this up the flagpole. I don't remember off the top of my head the average home value, but I'm sure it's over 200,000. And you got 3 bathrooms there and 5 bedrooms. Wow. Year built 1975. That picture was not a 1975 home. Look at taxes are only 6,300. That's pretty good for the area. Our current tax now says year built 75. Yeah, I don't. When I look at this, this looks like a much older home. Although somebody might have been doing a real unique classic design, that's possible. I think that's a possibility, guys. So let me bring my panel back over, look for questions. I hope that helps you guys see the possibilities here. All right, this is, all right, Beverly says, how does financing work for the VA properties? Hope this isn't a silly question. No silly questions. Not at all. So when you're buying a VA property, generally they want you to get your own conventional financing. You can buy with an FHA loan or you can buy conventional. There's no real restrictions there. Now, if you're a veteran, you can certainly use your VA eligibility. Now, the old days, Beverly, this is kind of going back a little ways. It used to be that any consumer, Beverly, could actually assume a VA mortgage. I actually bought one like that back in the 80s. I bought a home and I assumed the VA mortgage. Back in the 90s, assumable mortgages were becoming fewer and further between. There's still some out there, but generally speaking, you've got to put money down, and whatever financing you're using, whether it's FHA or VA or Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, whatever the case is, you have to follow that lender's requirements. Typically, down payment, depending on your purposes, could be as little as 3% and as much as 20%, and then the rest of the note is going to be a loan. So that hopefully that answers your question there. And let me go back to the question box because that seems like I saw another one. Let's see. This is Chris. Can anyone buy these homes? Yeah. No. So Chris, some of the we call them quasi-government agencies. Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, VA, they're all kind of quasi-government agencies, right? Not VA in and of itself, but the VA, the lending arm of VA, right? They'll sometimes, like HUD, put out there, like if you remember the HUD site, remember it said up top, eligible bidders. It said owner occupants, comma, nonprofit, comma, government. That meant investors couldn't bid on that property. You'll see sometimes, particularly the loans that used to be FHA owner-written loans, so Fannie Mae, for example, they'll do the same thing sometimes. They'll say this is open to owner-occupants only, and if no owner-occupant buys it, then it's open to investors. They'll tell you that right in the description, okay? So in any case, this is Freddie Mac. I don't think Freddie Mac has those kind of restrictions. By the way, guys, Freddie Mac is really good at underwriting loans for buying big apartment buildings, okay? Robert Kiyosaki made a fortune buying low-income housing and using Freddie Mac loans that had like 40-year terms at like 3%. It was crazy. I got to talk to him about that one time. It was pretty interesting. Okay, Krista is saying, what are the rules for buying a Freddie Mac home? Well, let's reduce the panel here. And here's your contact information, Fast Track Real Estate, LLC. Let's look down here. So you get the map view, street view, neighborhood information, school information, community information. Right, the home steps difference. All right, with seller homes responsibly, Freddie Mac is committed to having the best property maintenance and sales standards in the country. Learn more. Calculators, down payment comparison, biweekly mortgage. They give you all this stuff. And oops, sorry. Let me go back to I want to go back to the remarks here. All right, large bi-level home, very conveniently located. Everything. Home is a great opportunity to buy and bring your imagination. House cannot be. I don't know what she's saying. Cannot be DEWIN for inspections due to plumbing issues. But usually they give you the buying process down here. So hang on one second. Okay. Freddie does not guarantee information listed on the website. Special program may not be available for sale. Questions related to particular homes shown. These pages should be directed to the approved listing broker whose information appears with the home. So in any case, I don't see any restrictions on this. I think, was that Christine? Hang on one second, guys. Krista, sorry. I don't see any restrictions on this. Status is active. First look, no. I think anybody can buy this. Usually it will tell you if there's a restriction on who can buy it. And the process or the rules are essentially what they do is you have a sales agreement you fill out. Sometimes it's your own board's sales agreement, and then they will give you what we call an addendum, which could be huge. In the case of Fannie Mae, they're like 36 pages long, and the addendum actually overrides the sales agreement. So any language in an addendum overrides language in a sales contract, where the two sets of languages address the same subject. You always defer to the addendum. Okay, you have to follow the rules in the addendum. All the rules are in there. They tell you, for example, sometimes you can't do an inspection after the offer is accepted. Excuse me. You have to do your inspection prior to making an offer. Okay, so there's certain risk inherent in buying these foreclosure properties. They also tell you that you have to, of course, like anything else, have proof of funds, pre-approval letter from a lender, all these things like that. And if you, sometimes they even will have a screening process, so they won't let anybody with a criminal background buy these properties, for example. I've seen that over the years before. So you just basically, what I would do is, if you see a property you like, email the listing agent, tell them you want the package for that property, and they'll send it to you, or they'll give you access to it online. In fact, if you go to the MLS, a lot of these properties eventually will get on MLS, and a lot of what you need to know is listed in attachments on the MLS listing. Okay, so Roger's asking, is there much bargain room on LP with a Freddie Mac? I don't recall myself, Roger, from doing that. I would think that there is. Ooh, excuse me. Hang on one second, guys. Generally speaking, they'll give you what's called a little bit of an escrow to help defray some of the cost of really things that are like code violations, for example. In this case, could be lead paint, could be mold, could be radon. But I wouldn't count on it. That'll be available to you in the package that comes with the property. They'll tell you. Okay. So Bev says it did. Thanks. Let me see what was that was referring to, because I don't remember. How does financing a VA work? Okay. Oh, she's saying it did help work. It did help answer questions. Okay, you're very welcome, Kristen. All right. See, Fassel says that's not the house. Go to the second picture. Okay. Look at that. Looks like it's kind of behind a whole bunch of trees there. Aha. Well, there's a little trick play. How about that? Somebody got their pictures messed up there. This makes a lot more sense. Okay, not a bad looking little split level. But for the life of me, I can't imagine why they have these two pictures in the mix. That does not make sense. In any case, let's look at the last one here, guys. I want to make sure. In Fannie Mae, yeah, Fannie Mae, Roger, used to be really, really tough. Over the years, they tended to become more in alignment with like HUD, for example. So they would give you a credit sometimes for repair that you can use to abate mold or lead paint or something. But you really just have to look at the package that comes with the property when it's listed. Okay, let's go to Fannie Mae, since everybody's asking about Fannie Mae. You can see they used the same what was it over here? was it Home Steps? No, Home Steps. Yeah, Home Steps. That format, remember this, looks a lot like Home Path. How about that? So let's just go, since we're on a roll here, let's go to Bergen County again. Oops, there it is, Bergen County, New Jersey. And let's see if we got any properties that were used to be have Fannie Mae underwritten mortgages. And look at that, there is a whole bunch of them. This is going to be a field day. So let's see, let's just pick something simple like up here. This is, there's 3 of them here. That's way up northern New Jersey. Let's do this one because this is kind of down here, not too far from Patterson. All right, 439 Broad Street. 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Oh, look at that. That's kind of a neat looking contemporary there. 2,300 square feet. Well, this looks like has potential here, guys. All right. Oh, it's under contract. Okay. Let's go to it. Well, let's just look at that. Let's just see what we get here. Let's click on View More. All right. Under contract for almost $500,000. I think somebody got a bargain on that one. Holy smokes. I mean, just based on what I know about this area of New Jersey. Let's go ahead and go back. Let's look at another one. Let's look at one that hopefully is active. Okay. So that was here. Let's look at this one here. Actually, let's go to here. Let's look at this one. 438 Kinderhammer. That's Kinder, by the way, is German for child. 4 bedroom, 2 bathroom, 2,000 square feet, 379. Let's check on that one. That one's under contract. Okay, let's try another one. Let's see, there were 2 more, I think, or 3 more. Let's try this one up here. 1 Forest Use Circle, pending photo. It's a condo. Okay, let's take a look at it. 2 bedroom, 3 bathroom, coming soon, so it's not yet listed. And I don't know anything about it because it's a condo and we didn't get any pictures. Let's just check one more. 85 Ridgewood. All right, 329, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 1,200 square feet under contract. So, in any case, as you can see, there's a lot of properties here. I mean, there's a whole bunch there. My gosh. I'd love to find one. Let's check this out, Vassal. This isn't too far from you. By the way, there's Clifton. I'll be in Clifton in another couple of months. That's under contract. Let's see. This one is under contract. Seems like everything are listed. Oh, here's one just listed. 467 Saddle River. View More. 367.5. That looks like it's been newly remodeled. Holy smokes, guys. In any case, I don't know how much profit potential is in this, but as you can see, you can get all kinds of good information here. Property description, property details. You can download the floor plan, right? You get a lay of the land, there's the map area. County site gives you the property data from the county's perspective. Median rent, it gives you some projections there. Housing information, characteristics, summary, inventory. Let's just see summary and then we'll kind of wrap this one up. Okay, hang on one second. Why did that do that? Let me go back up here. Hang on one second, guys. Summary. Let's click on summary and see what we have. Did I show this disclaimer? Okay, we don't care about that. We want to see the summary. And it's thinking about it. And there you go. Okay, pretty good information. Gives you the community facts, housing inventory. Of course, just like every other place on average, it's 2/3 owner occupied, 1/3 rental. Again, if you're in New York City watching this, you're in the Bronx or Queens and Brooklyn, you're closer to 70% tenant occupied. Population growth, 5%. Demographics, you get the age groups, all kinds of information. As you can see, this is a huge benefit to you and your clients. So let me do this. Let me bring my panel back over and look for some final questions here before we wrap this up. Let's see. Natasha says, oops, hang on 1 second. Hi, Gary. I checked your calendar. You are at the Keller Williams Hudson City on March 9th at 1 p.m., but I checked Reese's website and you are on your calendar for the same day at 6 p.m. Manhattan, not Long Island. Yeah. So I know I've got to hustle. So Natasha, could you think I can make it to the Hudson City office to Long Island between 5 and 6 p.m. in 1 hour? If you could let me know that, that would be great. I may end up being a little bit late that night. That's the night we do a kind of a preview, and then the big event is on Saturday the 11th. So in any case, thanks for bringing that up. But let me know what you think about traffic time there. Let's see, there was one more. Let's see. I think that was it, guys. I think we're done. Okay, we're going to continue next week looking into Module 2. We'll go over some calculators. We'll do the Opportunity Evaluator. We'll do the Rental Property Reporter. We'll get into some details. So you guys, if you could bring examples for next week, just bring them. Just have them with you on your computer, or in email, or some way I can access them. We'll bring them up, and we'll use your example properties to go through those calculators. Okay. In the meantime, thanks for participating tonight, and I appreciate all the Q&A, all the questions. I can't wait to see some of you guys again. It's been a while since I've been back to California, and it'll be since this past summer since I was back in the New York City, New Jersey area. So look forward to seeing you all. Again, keep me posted, keep me up to date, what you're working on, what you need help with. If you could use Gary at myinvestmentservices.com, that would be wonderful. You've got my cell phone. You can text me if there's anything urgent. And anytime you want a strategy call, just let me know, and we'll do a one-on-one strategy call. So, in any case, God bless you guys. Oh wait, we got a late question here. Hang on 1 second. You might be able. This is Natasha, Manhattan. Okay, let's see here. Natasha says, yes, the 9th is a preview, but remember that night you were in Manhattan, which was a little taxing. You might make it if you leave Keller Williams by 3 p.m. 3-hour commute. Oh my gosh, that's not a good sign there. So Jackie says, how do I get listings for HUD homes? If you want to list them yourself, Jackie, that's what FAFSA was asking earlier. If you go to the HUD site, let's go back here. I think that's this one. No, it's this one. Oh, I'm sorry, maybe it's this one. Here it is. You want to click on this NAID application button, and you follow their instructions. And you want to talk to your broker first, Jackie, first. Always talk to your broker first, okay? Let's see, I think that is pretty much it. Yeah. All right, you guys, have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful rest of the week and weekend. And I will see you next week. Is going to be the 16th, which is a Thursday. I will be in Las Vegas. In the meantime, God bless you and your families, and I look forward to seeing you all again. Okay, take care.